Hi, today I'm covering a topic under complex PTSD recovery, and I'm answering a question from my audience on YouTube. And a woman asked if I had any videos, or could speak to, and yes, I can. I would love to speak to any of your questions about mental health and overcoming symptoms of anxiety, depression, traumatic stress. I'm all about that. And her question was about if I had anything about creating a comfort zone or safe place within yourself or within your life. And so, while I've touched on that throughout videos, I really wanted to dive into that today specifically. And so, um, it's a really important topic for me. This is where I start with everyone. If you don't have this in your inner world, if you cannot come inside and find comfort and safety, that's where we're beginning. And so we're going to create that, because once you have that, then we can move out to your inner world and outer world and start resolving all the symptoms that are showing up out there. So this is number one for me. And my name's Rachel McLeod. I'm a mental health therapist, coach, and therapist mentor. And so I specialize in my specialty is helping people overcome symptoms and do the brain work for resolving symptoms of anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress. The brain has a beautiful process for this, and that process gets stuck. And so we run around with all these symptoms, gathering more symptoms and more symptoms and more symptoms. And when we get this part processed, when we get this part of the brain moving, then all those symptoms start resolving and very quickly. And then we just tell the brain where we want it to work. And then we guide the brain to do that work. And there we go. And that's really what we do in how to create a comfort zone within the self. And so we are right on topic. And so let's dive in here. Okay. I'm getting notices again. So stay with me. If this is too glitchy again, please let me know. But I'm going to move forward on this. Hmm. This is a new thing Facebook is doing. So I don't know. It's telling me things. Okay. So let's dive in. The goal here is to create safety, to make it so that you can be inside your inner world and feel safe and comfortable. And so that can be a really big goal, because there's a lot of things that take place in here, and why we don't feel safe in our inner world. And so I'm going to talk about those and then what we do about that. And um, so what has to happen in order for us to feel safe in our inner world is we have to be able to feel comfortable, tolerate what's going on in there. And a lot of times, the emotions that we're experiencing, the somatic sensations, and somatic sensations means the body's expression of emotions. There is always a body expression of the emotion that we are going through. Now, we're not always connected with that. And so that is foreign for people. And this is one of the things I begin to do, is help people find their body's expression of emotion. Because the body's expression of emotion, is the thing that has to be resolved to resolve symptoms of anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress. This is really what's VIP in the whole thing. If you understand your symptoms, if you are doing mindset work and you're doing all this hypnosis, all this stuff, if you do not resolve the body's expression of emotions, you do not get to resolve the symptoms of anxiety, depression, or traumatic stress. They will still show up. And the body's expression of emotion is also the body's expression of thoughts, of our of experiences and unresolved trauma. The body will be talking all about this all the time. It never stops talking about this, because its job is to send that information, gather all this information up about our emotions, our senses, our experiences, our unresolved issues, and take it to the top of the brain. Their job is, they're not experiencers, they're data processors. And so the experiencer is the body, and it needs to get all the stuff up there so that they understand what we've been experiencing, what's actually going on out there and inside of us. And so, but because that some of this stuff is registers in the brain as pain, it really doesn't get through the process. It gets pushed back into the body. The survival system's like, what's this? It closes the process down, pushes it back, and it goes back to the body. The body did not get to complete its process. And so, does the body give up? No, the body has a job to do. I got to send this information up. I got to send this information up. And then the survival system's like, I'm tired of this. And I'm going to figure out a way to make sure we're not aware of this anymore and that you can never get this through because it will kill us. It will not kill us. The pain neurons are firing. However, it's not true, right? And what we want to do is we want to help the body get that report of the experiences, the unresolved traumatic stress, the emotions. We want to get them past the survival system. That's our only job here. And we got to influence the survival system. Hey, let that stuff through. But the survival system is not influenced by our logic or reasoning. It doesn't care. I don't know if you've noticed that, but it does not care what you tell it, what you're thinking about, what you want, what the reasoning. Hey, you know what? This is illogical. You're safe. It doesn't care. It wants to know we're going to live or we're going to die, and the pain neurons are saying we're not. So we have a different way of influencing the survival system to open up. And this is, if you, this is natural to us. We actually will use the body to convince this part of the survival system that we're safe, right? And once the survival system starts receiving those safety signals, it starts opening up. We do this with children by picking them up and rocking them. If you've never had that done for you or soothed like that, then you did not get the experience of parents opening this flap for you and helping you get all your stuff processed. So there's probably stuff from early childhood that's never made it through this process. That's what we're talking about with complex PTSD. There's a complex amount of stuff that's unresolved that has never made it through your brain's natural healing health creation process. And that's really, really important. And and when that happens, we will do a lot of tricks, but it will never create the health and wellness because we're actually not doing our body's process for creating health and wellness. So on a body level, it's not happening. On a mind level, you could be growing mentally and things like that. That does not mean your body's coming with you, and you don't get to outrun your body. That's what dissociation is about. Let me get away from my body. There's too much pain in there, right? And so that's a real challenge. And that's really what we're up against. And when we start dissociating because it's not safe to be inside with all of this unprocessed material that's old, that doesn't belong here anymore, and that it's been sifted out, like all the positive stuff, it gets to go through this process unchecked for the most part, right? I just made a video about that caveat last on Tuesday, but right, the majority of the positives get to flash through here. That means it's sifted out. This is just the negative, painful stuff remaining, and it's gathered in your body and it's not moving. It's not it, and all that stuff is in its original form, so it hasn't gone through the body's process of taking the pain out, turning the pain into amazing things for health and wellness. That pain that here is here now, the terror, the rage, the anger, the despair, the disappointment, all of that stuff will be used and converted in the brain to create health and wellness. We don't like it now, and we're not supposed to like it now because it's very dysfunctional in its current form, but that's the very stuff your brain will use to make health and wellness. Up here, they're like, gimme, 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 gimme. They want all that stuff. We're trying to run away from the pain and the terror and the rage and the despair. But up here, they're not. That's why when you go to sleep, they're dreaming all about it. You're having all these nightmares. They're like, oh, let's do it. Oh, we want that stuff. That's gold to the top of your brain. But to your survival system, it's death. And so we've really got to provide support to that part of the brain to get that stuff up. And they go and they take it and they make health and wellness. Okay. They also make your safety. Like once they understand that stuff, they're all like, oh, That's not as big of a deal as we thought it was. Oh, okay. Turn off the alarms on that. You know, we don't need to freak out when that comes around. It's not dangerous. And so then it goes and that programming gets set back in. And the next time it happens, your survival system doesn't react because it got the memo, because the process completed. That's what we really want. And in that one thing, whatever you got processed and the process completed, when it happens again in real life, you'll feel safe and calm. And so we've created this much safe and calm. So guess what? We're going to do it again. We're going to go take some more of that unprocessed material, and we're really prioritizing the body's stuff. The body. So this is if you've got if your stomach is knotting up when you interact with something, if you have heaviness in your stomach, if you have your chest is tight, your throat is hot and tight, if your face is flushing, if all of that is your body's expression of emotion. I got one of the third in. I just put two: emotion and unresolved trauma. I feel like there's a little bit more in there, but there's also, well, I guess in the unresolved trauma, there's the memories and the flashbacks and things like that. All of that was what this thing is in here, in your throat, or maybe in your cheeks when you get hot, or maybe the tension that's showing up in your shoulders. You know, you're talking about something, and all of a sudden you find your shoulders up to your ears, right? Um, that those muscles are talking about the experience too. They're remembering the unresolved trauma too, and that's their design. And so we can really help grab all that communication and make sure it gets to the top of the brain. And then this part says, oh, I finally delivered the message. And they start relaxing. You feel the stuff instantly. I sent the message. And the top part is like, they get back in there to work. They're like, oh my gosh, have you seen this report? And they're going and talking to each other, which we want them to do, because now we're actually building the relationship between different parts of your brain. We're actually wiring communication. And guess what? They might have a hard time connecting at first because I haven't seen you ever, you know, and or not enough, because the processing facilitates all this stuff. So now we're wiring and reconnecting parts of your brain. And you're I don't know any of the parts of the brain. I promise I take so many trainings and I still do not know any of the names of the parts of the brain. But there's a part in there that's really big. It's not supposed to be really big in the survival system, but it starts getting smaller. It starts getting less, I don't know, I want to say inflamed, but I don't know if that's how it works. I'm failing anatomy and physiology at all times at this point. It's really ridiculous. But there's all this wiring that takes place. And the more you do this work, the more your brain wires, and the faster these things are moving together. Okay. And gosh, my video is so, if you're watching and if you would give me a little feedback of how much glitchiness is going on, I would appreciate this. Facebook keeps flashing, and this is such a good video. I just want to keep going, but I'm the fallout of bad video is a real thing. But I'm gonna keep going. um, so when we create that little bit of safety, we're gonna do it again. We're gonna grab some more. Maybe you're this is what happens in panic disorder a lot, that we become phobic of our panic attacks. So a lot of times we make associations. Our body is like, okay, a panic attack is coming, and they know exactly how. And maybe it's because the breathing shifts. So now we become afraid of the breathing, right? That breathing shifts in breathing. So if there's an alteration there, we're panicking. Right? And so what we want to do is that the breathing shift, that is the beginning of the panic attack, we want to get that sensation processed. We want to pay attention there when it's small, right? Because it's hard to pay attention to that once you're in a full-blown panic attack. We're not doing that. But we want to take that sensation. We want to spend some time with it as much as we can, even if it's just 30 seconds. And we want to use an intervention that convinces the survival system, let that information through. So now your little breathing is shifting, and that information is actually making it through up to the top parts of your brain, and they're gathering all their data. Now they're like, oh my gosh, our heart rate is expressing all this trauma. They know exactly what trauma they're processing. They know exactly the memories. They're translators of all the body's information. Just because you don't know what's going on with your heart rate does not mean the rest of your brain doesn't. They are brilliant at this. As a matter of fact, I'd rather you not know and wait till they finish it, and then they'll tell you what that was. A lot of times, if you don't need to know, they're not going to tell you. And we'll never know, but we will watch you grow in health and wellness, right? And then when we come back, and this sensation, this difficulty breathing, this shift in breathing, right? Your brain is no longer afraid of it because it understands it. And the next thing you know, it's not causing the same distress. Plus, whatever that was, the little packet of trauma got processed. And so it's a non-issue. They get it. Your system, your heart, your breathing was able to complete the communication, and now it doesn't have that left to do anymore. It completed the job. It's done. It basically handed it over. Here, you take that issue. I got other things to do, and it does have other things to do. Okay, and so the next time you come around in your panic attack, you'll notice that sensation isn't there, and maybe there are other ones because we only did this much work, but then we move to the next one and we'll do this much, this much, this much, and pretty soon the entire chain of panic is resolved, and then the things happen and there's no panic that occurs. And then brains are like, this is interesting. And then all of a sudden people are feeling safer. They're feeling less avoidant of the panic triggers, and they're reclaiming more areas of their life where the panic had set up shop. And now they can go into those areas again. We're making inside their body a safe place. Okay. And so this is the process that we do. It's just getting this stuff processed. That's it. That's the entire secret sauce. That's the entire magic. Now, can you find the stuff to get processed? Can you find the body sensations? We use the thoughts that go, running around, racing thoughts. That's very important information, and it points to things that the brain understands. And so if we can get the racing thoughts processed, then the next thing you know, we're feeling safer because our brain took care of a problem. Those racing thoughts were reporting a problem or something that we thought was scary, and all of a sudden the brain reviews it and it's not. Or we think it's scary. The brain is like, yeah, you're right, it's scary, but let's create some healthy strategies here. And so the next thing you know, you've dealt with the problem in a very healthy way, not with fight, flight, freeze, faint, or fawn, which is what you would have done because the survival system was in charge of the operation, not the whole brain. Right? So that's the real process between making a comfort zone and a safe place within your body. We do the same thing. Once we've accomplished that, and you can wake up in the morning, you're not experiencing depression or panic attacks or worry. And that's one of the things we're doing as well. Let's take worry, for example. Worry is a very important brain function that is impaired and is on repeat. We're not getting the benefit that worry is designed to get us. And so then we think, worry is so bad. We villainize worry. No, worry is wonderful. Worry is not working right and is looping and is causing distress. And it's because it's pain, 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 pain. And then we're having to do pain responses and cope with pain on an emotional level, and our mind is doing this, and this is not good. So we really want to support the brain to process worry well, so that it happens better and better and better, and then it's a seamless process, and then it's an unconscious process, and it stays out of your way. But the brain does need to run ahead and consider what's coming and make bridges for it and make things happen there. That's its design, and we want to support that, not block that. And the worry that we've got going on is an out of repair process. And so to make our inner world safe, it's safe to be in here. Well, if we're just going to worry when we get in our body, that we're going to leave again. We're going to dissociate. And so we really need to take that worry and get that working. And that is not a long process. I probably spend a week there repairing people's worry functions, and then that's not the issue anymore, and then we're on to the next one. And that's what we do. We follow the trail that's given. We resolve one, and then what's up, brain? What do you want? What else can I help you with? What's the next unresolved process? How can I help you resolve more of this? The brain will always let you know because that's its job. It wants to work through this pile. It will never leave you alone until the pile is worked through because that's how it creates its health and wellness for you, right? So, this is so this doesn't take a long time. People start feeling a lot more comfortable within about 3 weeks of work. We work pretty, we help the brain pretty intensively. And within 3 weeks, there's a lot more comfort. And then we keep going and we create more and more and more. And by the time we're finished with the inner world comfort at a high enough level, now we're going to go make the outer world more comfortable. And that's just the brains do that. And then it'll say, whoop, oh, we did as much as we can. Let's go back into the inner world. We need to make more safety and we need to work on some things and rearrange our foundation, our emotional foundation, our emotional beliefs, our subconscious programming now. And so we'll go and we'll go do more. And then our system will be satisfied and it'll go out and create more shifts outside of us and come back in and be like, we need to rearrange this and more security in here. And we just go back and forth. And it's very expansive. It's just it's in and out, in and out. There's times to take a step in, and that's definitely at the beginning of your recovery journey, and many times along the journey. And the wisdom of knowing when it's time to come in and work on some things is really, really important. And there's times when it's time to go enjoy what you've built and bask in it and have a great time, and that's really important too. So all of this stuff is really, we want the brain to lead this with wisdom and wellness and all those things. So this part of the process is one I want to invite you to start working on now, and it's really working with your survival system to learn how to send it signals of safety in its native language. There are strategies for this. I teach three of my favorite interventions for free. These are the ones I use with all of my therapy and coaching clients. And I love them because they're fast. You can do them as much as you want. People don't usually get tired of them like we do with crying, which is a fabulous intervention, but who wants to cry all day? And so we have substitutes that will get us the same work faster with less side effects. And I teach these for free. And so you can take them, oh, and they only take about 30 seconds to 2 minutes to apply to really support that brain for 30 seconds to 2 minutes creates a wealth of transformation and healing. And so I invite you to enroll in that free program, try these interventions out, learn how they work for you, if they work for you, how they work for you, in what ways. And once you've got one of those on board, there is so much you can do to heal your inner world and to get rid of symptoms and really find comfort in your inner world and then also in your life and grow. That comfort zone, that's the magic spot, really. We're talking a lot about getting out of the comfort zone, but really, even if we're getting out of the comfort zone, our brain still has to do the work of making the new place the comfort zone. So we want comfort. It's very, very good. It's great for us. So, and we can learn so many things in there and expand. Once you've got that going on, that intervention, then if you are you'll still have a mountain of work to do. And I have created a program, an online program to help guide people through the process, a roadmap. First do this, then this, then this, then this, and use your intervention like this. And here's this exercise and do this in a specific order. This is what I walk all of my therapy clients through and my coaching clients. And it's transformational, it's guiding, and it gives you the tools so that you never have to wait for your therapist again, so that you can do the healing work you want to do when you want to do it, how you want to do it, and that you're available to support your brain in that way because you're going to be with it more than anybody else. And so I want to equip you with the tools and strategies you need to be well and to create wellness and to support your brain. All brains have challenges sometimes. That's just how it works. So it's really wonderful when you can support your brain or even recognize what's going on and then help out. So I invite you to look into that. That program called Inner World Transformation. That's on my website. The free program for the interventions for Inner World Transformation. I put the link in the descriptions. You can jump on there now. Watch those video trainings. They're about 15 minutes each. The interventions are very short, but I want you to understand what's going on, and then yeah, try it out and then see what your brain does. The brain will do very measurable things, predictable things once it can take something from the body and get it up to the top. You'll watch things happen very specifically so you can measure, is this working for me or not? Is this a tool I can use to resolve my symptoms? And so I want you to have that measurable understanding, because this is not about hoping or just, it's about, we want to see the brain do the work, and we want the benefits, and we can get it. It's pretty instant when this process opens up. You'll see shifts quickly. So I invite you to try those out and heal. All right. Thanks for joining me. Take care. Bye.